her husband Bruce, who had returned after a year-long expedition, only to find him accompanied by a beautiful woman. Alice approached him with concern, but the woman by his side clung to his arm. Bruce told Alice that this woman was his fiancée, Olivia. Alice was shocked, and her maid angrily asked Bruce, "You are already married to Alice. How can you have a fiancée?" But Olivia mocked Alice, saying, "Your marriage was arranged by your parents, but Bruce and I are truly in love. You, a conservative woman, wouldn't understand this." Bruce admired Olivia greatly, believing her to be bold and capable. Although she was from a prestigious family, she was willing to endure hardships in the military. He believed that Olivia, who had fought alongside him on the battlefield, was his true soulmate. Alice asked Bruce, "What promise did you make to me before you left for war a year ago?" He remembered that before he left, they had married. On their wedding night, he had promised that he would love only her for the rest of his life and would never betray her. Alice then asked Olivia, "The law now only allows one wife. Would you be willing to be a concubine?" Bruce responded, "Olivia can only be my legitimate wife. After I marry her, you can stay and become my concubine." These humiliating words broke Alice's heart. Their argument attracted the attention of the young general, David. Bruce's sister, Anna, said, "As an orphan, Alice was lucky to marry my brother. She should be grateful." David slammed his glass down and said, "I'm glad I came today to watch such a good show of a heartless man." Bruce apologized to him and promised to handle the family matters soon. After sending the guests away, Alice asked for a divorce. Bruce was shocked, and his sister Anna said, "Do you still think you're still the rich young lady from before? Your family is dead, and you're just a disaster. Where will you go after you leave my family? Become a prostitute?" Alice angrily grabbed her arm and said, "The jewelry and clothes you're wearing were all bought by me, so take them off and return them to me." Bruce scolded her for making a scene, but she calmly replied, "I will take back everything you owe me." As she was about to leave, Anna insulted her, calling her shameless. Alice pulled off her hairpin and threw it at Anna. Anna was frightened, but Bruce was surprised by Alice's boldness and courage. Returning home, Alice remembered how she had just returned from studying abroad a year ago when she received the news of her father and brother's deaths in battle. Her mother, seriously ill and coughing up blood, had told Alice before her death not to follow in her father and brother's footsteps and join the military, but to find a man to marry and live a peaceful life. Alice had tearfully agreed, and soon after, her mother passed away. But now, married to Bruce and becoming a housewife, she was humiliated and bullied by him. She realized that women could only rely on themselves. From now on, she would live for herself and create a more brilliant life. The next day, she visited General Michael, who was a very close friend of her father. Michael thought she had come to ask him to punish Bruce, but she made two unexpected requests. First, she wanted a quick divorce from Bruce. Second, she wanted to join the military and serve her country, just like her father and brother. Michael was pleased and admired her courage and spirit. He promised to help Alice and vowed to make sure she was never wronged again. Bruce and Olivia wanted Michael to be their wedding witness, but were stopped at the entrance of the general's office. When they saw Alice, they assumed she had come to report them to Michael and cursed her as malicious and shameless. However, Alice ignored them and left without looking back. Bruce instructed the butler to prepare the bride price, but the butler informed him that there wasn't enough money in the family account. Bruce confronted Alice, asking why she hadn't managed the household well over the past year. Alice told him, "Your family's businesses can't even cover basic expenses. A lot of money went into treating your mother, and your sister loves shopping, also spending a lot of money. Over the past year, I've been using my own money to cover the family's deficits." She angrily threw the ledger at him. His mother then asked Alice for money to help pay for his marriage to Olivia. Alice was dumbfounded. Her husband asked her to help fund his marriage to his mistress. This was absurd. She refused on the spot, which infuriated him. His mother suggested that Bruce divorce Alice immediately and kick her out of the house to claim her money for himself. Alice's maid was slapped by Bruce for mocking Olivia, but Alice immediately slapped him back and shouted, "How dare you harm my maid?" When he asked for a divorce, Alice agreed, but insisted on taking all her possessions with her. Bruce tried to slap her, but she quickly snatched his gun and fired several shots at his military cap, leaving several holes. He wanted to grab his gun back, but his martial arts skills were no match for Alice, and he took a punch from her. Soon, he was on his knees, and she slapped him again. As he tried to fight back, she kicked him harshly and said, "You're a loser. How can someone like you lead troops into battle?" At that moment, General Michael arrived. Bruce falsely accused Alice of disrespecting his mother and violating family rules, which was why he decided to divorce her. Michael pulled out a document. Bruce thought it was his appointment letter and was pleased, but Michael said the document was for Alice. Anna accused Alice of being shameless, but Michael rebuked Anna for her lack of upbringing. He told Bruce, "If you can't even discipline your sister, then don't come to my army." Bruce slapped Anna and demanded she apologize to Alice. Though Anna was reluctant, she apologized. Michael said, "Alice's father was my close friend, so she is like a daughter to me. I've specially made this seal for her. With it, she can mobilize my army anytime. If anyone dares to bully her again, they'll be going against me." When Bruce's mother saw that Alice had been given such power, she immediately demanded that Bruce apologize to Alice and reconcile with her. Michael handed over the divorce papers, which had already been stamped by the military office. Bruce finally realized that she had gone to the military office to ask for the divorce papers. Alice declared that she would have no further relationship with him, then tore up the divorce papers and ordered the servants to pack up her belongings as she left. Bruce's mother regretted it deeply and fainted on the spot. Though Michael gave Alice military authority, he didn't allow her to go to the front lines because he worried for her safety. On her way home, she encountered two suspicious individuals who smelled of sulfur. They had stolen the battle route map of David and were about to leave, but Alice rushed forward and stopped them. Although the spies drew knives, she quickly subdued them. She hurried back to the general's office and informed Michael that the battle route map had been leaked and the army might be ambushed by the enemy. Michael thought she was joking and was reluctant to send reinforcements to the front lines. Alice requested that he give her a small troop as she wanted to go rescue and reinforce David. Michael refused and ordered her to stay in the military office that night and not leave. But she secretly climbed out of the window, mounted a horse, and headed to the front lines. Alice arrived at the military camp and met David. She told him about the leaked march route. She thought David would not easily believe her, but he said, "I believe you." Alice suggested a plan to go along with the original route and set up an ambush with a small unit to wipe out the enemy. She analyzed the terrain and pointed out the best place for an ambush. Then, Alice proposed the need to arrange a sniper to kill the enemy commander so that the enemy would be thrown into chaos. However, aside from David, no one in the army had such precise shooting skills. Alice said, "Let me be the sniper." Although David's colleagues hesitated, David agreed with Alice's suggestion. She asked him why he trusted her, and he answered, "Because you are Alice Smith." During the ambush, the soldiers whispered among themselves, doubting Alice's ability. But she was not affected by their gossip. She aimed her gun at the enemy commander and shot him dead with one shot. The soldiers were stunned. Alice led the ambush unit forward and wiped out all the enemies in the camp. David's colleagues were very grateful and admired Alice, calling her the female sharpshooter. Just then, Bruce walked in. He was the commander of the reinforcement troops sent by Michael, and Olivia was accompanying him. The soldiers said to Bruce, "Your wife is incredible. We have a newfound respect for her." Olivia thought they were praising her and was very happy. But the soldiers asked, "Who are you?" "We're talking about this female commander," and pointed at Alice. Bruce and Olivia then saw Alice in the camp. Alice explained that she had divorced Bruce. After the soldiers understood the situation, they sarcastically remarked, "A heartless man and a scheming mistress, you two are truly a perfect match." Bruce was furious, but the soldiers were not to be outdone. David demanded that Bruce hand over the 10,000 reinforcement troops to Alice's command, but Olivia objected. The soldiers defended Alice, saying, "Alice saved our entire unit. She deserves to be the commander." Fearing Olivia would cause trouble, Bruce quickly took her away. When David learned Alice had divorced, he was very happy and couldn't help but smile. Olivia was very dissatisfied with Alice and challenged her, saying, "If I lose, I will resign my military rank and leave the army." Olivia was initially full of confidence, but she was quickly defeated by Alice in their duel. David announced the removal of Olivia's military position and expelled her from the army. The soldiers cheered for Alice. However, Olivia was unwilling to accept this defeat and suggested that Bruce lead a surprise attack on the enemy that night, so that he could earn military merit and take the commander's position back from Alice. That night, David was holding a wooden pendant in his hand, reminiscing about his first encounter with Alice when they were children. She had accidentally bumped into him, and he fell in love with her at first sight. To apologize, she gave him the wooden pendant she had made herself. Over the years, David had never forgotten Alice and had always kept the pendant with him. Just then, Alice walked in. She saw the pendant, but didn't recognize it as the one she had made as a child, laughing as she said, "This pendant is so ugly." A soldier suddenly entered to report that Bruce had led the army to raid the enemy, but was captured alive. David thought Alice would be worried about Bruce, but she said, "I don't care about that useless Bruce at all. We cannot be affected by him. We need to stay calm and continue with tomorrow's siege plan as scheduled." David's admiration for her grew even more. The next day, Alice successfully took the city and went to the prison to rescue Bruce, who was badly tortured and covered in wounds. He grabbed Alice's hand and apologized to her, but she shook off his hand and said, "I don't need you in my life anymore." Then she left without looking back. Bruce's sister, Anna, heard that the army led by her brother had defeated the enemy and that a female general had made a significant contribution. Both Anna and her mother believed the female general to be Olivia and were very pleased. However, when they arrived at the door to greet them, they saw Alice leading the team on horseback. The soldier publicly announced that Alice had made the greatest contribution and that the commander had promoted her to the rank of Major General. Bruce's mother asked why Bruce and Olivia hadn't returned, and the soldier replied, "They both made serious mistakes and have been detained for trial." Bruce's mother was shocked and nearly fainted. David, in fact, was the son of Commander Michael. When David returned home, his father jokingly said he would introduce a boyfriend to Alice, but David immediately stopped him. He confessed to his father that he liked Alice. Michael laughed heartily and encouraged his son to pursue Alice. David gathered his courage and brought a bride price to Alice's house. When Alice said she didn't want to get married for the time being, he was about to back out, but his soldiers brought in the full dowry. Alice thought that David was just trying to appease his father, who was pressuring him to get married, and assumed he was asking her for a fake marriage. So, she gladly agreed to his proposal. Their marriage was opposed by David's mother, who believed that Alice was a divorced woman, and if David married her, it would bring shame. However, David ignored her objections and insisted that he would marry Alice. His mother was furious and decided to invite Alice to her birthday party, hoping to embarrass Alice in front of everyone. While shopping, Alice ran into Olivia and Anna. Anna mocked Alice, calling her poor and claiming that she was not as wealthy as Olivia. However, the store manager did not share this view. He respected Alice greatly and even showed her the most expensive necklace in the store. Anna also liked the expensive necklace and asked Olivia to buy it for her. Olivia was in a difficult position because the necklace was too expensive and she could not afford it. To stop Anna, Bruce arrived at the store and scolded her for wasting money. At that moment, a foreign couple walked into the store. Olivia volunteered to translate for them in English, but her limited vocabulary made it hard to introduce the jewelry. Alice then stepped in, offering to assist. Her spoken English was fluent, and the foreign couple praised her, while Bruce also began to see her in a new light. He hadn't known that Alice had studied abroad and regretted divorcing her. Olivia, seeing her spotlight stolen, became furious. She stole Alice's wallet and suggested she buy the expensive necklace to embarrass her. But the store manager said, "Alice doesn't need to pay because this jewelry store belongs to her." Everyone was stunned. Alice realized her wallet was missing and called the police. However, when the police arrived, they didn't care about the situation and fawned over Bruce. Olivia clung to Bruce's arm and mocked Alice, saying, "You don't have a man to back you up." The police were about to arrest Alice, but David arrived just in time to stop them. He told the soldiers that Bruce had been dismissed from his position and that Alice had just been promoted to Major General by the commander. The police were horrified and knelt down to apologize. David embraced Alice and publicly declared that he had proposed to her, and she was now his fiancée. Alice's maid found her wallet in Olivia's handbag, and the police arrested Olivia. Bruce spent a lot of money to get Olivia out of jail, but he grew increasingly dissatisfied with her, thinking she was not as good as Alice. They had a huge argument. At David's mother's birthday party, Anna tried to approach David, but he avoided her with disdain, causing her to fall. Alice attended the party wearing an elegant gown, and everyone was stunned. David walked over and complimented her, saying, "You look beautiful today." Olivia invited Bruce to dance, hoping to become the center of attention with her dancing skills. David also invited Alice to dance. She hesitated because she wasn't very good at dancing, but he took her hand and led her. Their synchronized dance captivated the guests. Olivia, feeling overshadowed, became angry. David and Alice moved in perfect harmony, dancing gracefully to the music, their gazes filled with admiration for each other. David's mother arrived and tried to embarrass Alice, mocking her as frivolous and scheming. Bruce's mother and sister also took the opportunity to slander Alice, calling her malicious and unfilial. But a female doctor spoke up in Alice's defense. "I'm Bruce's mother's attending physician. She often fell ill and was hospitalized, and Alice would always accompany her to appointments and find the best doctors for her." Meanwhile, her daughter Anna never even visited her mother in the hospital. This revelation exposed Anna and her mother's lies, and David's mother began to view Alice more favorably, thinking she was a woman of good character. David's mother's rival, Rose, arrived. She was also Olivia's aunt. Olivia immediately attached herself to Rose, trying to get close. Rose mocked the humble birthday party, but Alice responded, "I brought a gift for David's mother." She revealed the gift, a painting by the famous artist Vivian. David's mother was very pleased and thanked Alice. However, Olivia told Rose that the painting Alice had given was a fake because Vivian never signed her works, yet this painting had a signature. Rose believed this and, in a fit of anger, tore the painting up and threw it on the floor. Just then, the general and his friend entered the room. The friend, a professor from a prestigious university, was an expert on Vivian's paintings. He immediately recognized the painting as genuine. The guest scolded Olivia for spreading rumors, which led to the destruction of a valuable painting. Olivia tried to argue, but was stopped by Bruce, who scolded her for embarrassing herself. Alice then revealed, "This painting wasn't bought by me. I painted it myself." The entire room was stunned. Vivian, the famous artist, was Alice. Olivia refused to believe her, so Alice immediately painted a new picture. Her exceptional painting skills left everyone in awe. Bruce's mother suddenly remembered tearing up one of Alice's paintings in the past and deeply regretted it. David's mother mocked Rose, and Rose retorted, "What right do you have to gloat? Alice is a famous artist, but that has nothing to do with you." David's mother proudly responded, "It does matter. She's my future daughter-in-law." David then took Alice's hand and announced to everyone that they would soon be married. Bruce was extremely jealous and regretful. His expression enraged Olivia, and she stormed off. David's parents both liked Alice and suggested they have the wedding in 7 days. After receiving the wedding invitation, Bruce became even more jealous and decided to hold his own wedding with Olivia on the same day. On the wedding day, the two couples crossed paths on the street. Olivia, upon hearing that Alice had 8 boxes of dowry, deliberately announced that she had 10 boxes. Passers-by praised Olivia for her wealth, which made her very happy. But at that moment, the city's influential people and soldiers gathered to support Alice, saying they would add to her dowry as wedding gifts. Olivia was once again defeated and clenched her fists in frustration. Alice and David participated in the wedding ceremony, and David's mother placed a family heirloom jade bracelet on Alice's wrist. Later, in their bedroom, Alice suddenly lifted her veil and stared at David, making him nervous and shy. David thought Alice wanted to kiss him, but she pushed him away and said, "We're not real couple. Tonight, who will sleep on the sofa and who will sleep on the bed?" When David didn't respond, Alice threw him a pillow and told him to sleep on the sofa. The next day, Alice told her family she wanted to open a department store. David's parents fully supported her and even offered to invest. When Rose heard this, she instructed Olivia to sabotage Alice's plans. Alice wanted to buy a building, but Bruce and Olivia, bringing expensive gifts, attempted to outbid her and purchase the building at a much higher price. To turn the situation around, Alice said to the businessman, "I noticed you enjoy drinking wine, so I specially imported a bottle of the finest French wine for you as a gift, but it's still on the way." The businessman, delighted by Alice's sincerity, immediately rejected Bruce and Olivia's offer. However, Rose arrived at the scene and said, "My husband is a diplomat." If you agree to sell the building to me, he can help you with business dealings abroad. Foreign politician William and his wife also arrived. Rose proudly mentioned that William was a good friend of her husband, but William and his wife walked over to Alice instead. They were the same foreign couple Alice had assisted at the jewelry store, and they were impressed by her. The businessman, eager to connect with William, immediately announced that he was Alice's partner and agreed to sign a contract with her. On the opening day of the department store, business was slow. Alice then learned that Olivia was hosting an important banquet that many people had gone to attend. Additionally, Olivia had hired a group of beggars to cause a disturbance, making customers unwilling to enter the store. However, Alice smiled calmly and devised a brilliant plan. She sent her friend to Olivia's banquet and told the rich young women, "Today, they're showing a movie at the department store, and cosmetics and perfumes are free for sampling." The guests became excited and immediately left the banquet to shop at the department store. Olivia was furious. Alice fought off the beggars and instructed them to harass Rose and later caused trouble at Bruce's house by robbing it. Bruce's mother slapped Olivia hard and ordered her son to divorce her immediately. Bruce, shouting outside the department store, said, "Alice, I was wrong. I regret divorcing you. Don't you have any feelings for me anymore?" David's mother yelled, "Shut up, you heartless man. My daughter-in-law, Alice, will never see you again." David's father ordered the soldiers to beat Bruce up. Anna, trying to seduce David, invited him out under Alice's name and slipped a drug into his drink. When Alice arrived at the restaurant, she saw Anna unbuttoning David's suit. David tried to push Anna away, but she sat on his lap and wrapped her arms around his neck. Alice was heartbroken and left. David pushed Anna away and immediately rushed to explain things to Alice. When Alice returned home, she found a wooden pendant in her suitcase. Her maid told her, "This wooden pendant is the one you made as a child. You made 2 of them, and later you gave one to a guest." Alice then realized that David was the little boy she had met years ago. David then came to Alice's house, apologized to her, and hugged her tightly, confessing that the woman he had loved for years was indeed her. Bruce wanted to divorce Olivia, so Olivia turned to Rose for help. Rose asked her to steal the defense plans from the headquarters. Although Olivia knew this was a serious crime, she still agreed. With Rose's help, Bruce was reinstated. Alice and David both began to feel suspicious, believing there was an undisclosed secret behind it all. Olivia secretly infiltrated the headquarters and stole the defense plans. Rose and her husband had long been secretly colluding with foreign forces, planning to sell military secrets to the enemy in order to destroy Michael's army. Bruce wanted to go to the battlefield, but Olivia stopped him, knowing that Michael's army would lose and didn't want Bruce to die for nothing. Bruce was shocked and enraged, shouting, "Are you crazy? You traitor!" Olivia said, "If Michael's army falls, we can truly establish ourselves and climb higher." Her words convinced Bruce. However, the next day, Alice and David led the army to defeat the foreign enemy and capture Rose. Olivia then realized that the defense plans she had stolen were fake. In fact, Alice and David had already investigated everything, and they had set a trap, using Olivia to feed false information to the enemy. David said, "Since no actual damage has been done, don't sentence them to death. Keep them locked up in this house forever, with no chance of leaving." Olivia completely collapsed, sitting on the ground and laughing maniacally. After some time, Bruce and his family, who had been imprisoned, all went mad. Alice made a new wooden pendant for David. He was overjoyed and hugged her tightly. "Let's wish them eternal happiness."